Welcome back. We live in a world that treats urgency like importance. Faster means better, busier means valuable, and somewhere along the way, slowing down started to look like falling behind. But slowing down isn't about moving like a sloth or doing less with your life. It's about releasing the constant inner pressure that tells you everything has to happen right now. Today, I want to talk about what slowing down actually means and why, for a lot of people, especially deep thinkers and sensitive nervous systems, slowing down is the thing that finally lets life start working again. There's a difference between slowing down and being lazy. Laziness is avoidance, slowing down is intentional. Laziness tends to disconnect you from life, whereas slowing down reconnects you to it. And slowing down is not about doing less, it's about doing things without panic attached to them. And it's nighttime and you're sitting there brushing your teeth and you're just like, I gotta just get this done. And you're just going so fast. And I actually bought myself an electric toothbrush to help myself better understand that. I think it goes for like 2 minutes, it's like 30 seconds each one. And just to help me better understand and comprehend time as a neurodivergent baddie over here. Time is just time is an illusion, okay? But we won't go into that right now. Same thing, dishes. I've started to remind myself to slow down. I don't need to scrub, like get it rush. And what's interesting is because I've mentioned to a lot of people the art of slowing down, and I've tried to explain it to a lot of people, and people initially generally seem to assume that it is about being lazy or it's about avoiding things, but it's not. It's about still doing all the things you want to do and that you need to do, but with a more intentional and slower pace internally. Because even if you are busy and you're rushing around, you can still get the things done without the sense of internal panic. The real problem is the inner urgency. It can make you feel like you're behind. It fuels that. It puts pressure on you to decide quickly, so you may not be making the best choices. And if you notice that, slowing down can be very, very helpful. There's the urgency to feel like you have to fix everything at once. I personally struggle with that one a lot, and I just remind myself one thing, one step at a time. And you can tend to get caught in the constant mental future tripping. You're like, I have to do all of these things by this time. Mm, well, take a step back. Let's reframe. Let's figure out what is, let's prioritize. What is most important? What isn't the necessity? This is why it's important to know in all aspects of your life, what are your non negotiables? Because most people aren't exhausted from doing too much. They're exhausted from feeling like they're running out of time. Can you relate to that? And like with anything, some people are going to struggle with certain things more than others. People who tend to struggle more with this are if you're highly self aware, if you're an overthinker, if you grew up in unstable environments, or people who are used to earning safety through productivity. When your nervous system learned that slowing down wasn't safe, stillness can feel uncomfortable at first. I know for me personally and my journey, slowing down did feel unsafe. Anytime prior to my journey of diving inward, anytime I was left by myself, I would either just sleep because everything was too much, um, or I would kind of just spiral about everything. And I didn't know how to appreciate slowing down, moving intentionally, having more time to myself, which come to find out later on, I'm going to reference human design quite a bit. I am fascinated by it. It has truly changed my life. But learning that I am a projector in human design and knowing that I'm a mental projector as well. So that's just another layer. Learning how many of my centers are open, how much that's impacted me in my environment, being raised and grown up with, and compared to a manifesting generator parent and sibling. We couldn't operate more different. I'm naturally move slower. I need more time to process before I can respond or make a decision. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people are still functioning from a place of urgency. So, over the last few years of learning to slow down, and that a lot of tasks don't actually take as long as our minds like to tell us that they will, that neurodivergence will like avoid anything that does not feel rewarding. So, I generally do my best to make the most daunting tasks feel fun or in whatever way that I can, depending on what my need is for the day. So, what slowing down actually looks like, it's making decisions without rushing the outcome, taking pauses before responding, letting things unfold instead of forcing clarity, and doing one thing fully instead of five things halfway. Because slowness is not about pace, it's about presence. As someone who grew up in a very chaotic household and very unstable environment, I noticed a pattern in my relationships, like looking back now, where if there was any sort of confrontation, if we had any sort of miscommunication, there was just anything felt off, I would panic. I used to be very, very, very anxiously attached. And so that would send me into a spiral. If we could not resolve it like right away, I was like not okay. But then the issue with that I recognized within myself is that in rushing clarity or rushing to a solution, instead of giving myself a day, a night, whatever that I needed to figure out what is it that I am needing from this scenario or this relationship, I hadn't deconditioned the people pleasing aspect. I basically was just trying to resolve it so that things would feel comfortable again because I could feel other people's emotions like fully. And for me, knowing about human design and how other people operate, it's not about putting other people in a box. And I want to really make a point to clarify that. It helps me better understand my changes when I'm around certain people, like noticing energy shifts. Because sometimes I'll go in a room or I'll go hang out with someone. I'm in like the best headspace. But then have you ever left and you're just like, oh my God, like I just feel something feels off, you know? Learning the not self or the blocked signs of each chakra, because that is part of human design, has been very helpful for me to be like, am I actually feeling this or is this something I've absorbed? As a projector, my aura is, our auras tend to be penetrating, open, or absorbing. And just, it's wild looking back at how accurate so much of this stuff is with my experiences with so many different people, so many different environments. Just, I've lived a lot of lives. So, learning that I basically have also learned to show my nervous system and safety, to learn what safety feels like, to continue embodying that and moving forward with people, places, things that feel safe. And slowing down, especially when we're in a world that tends to gloat about the hustle environment and the hustle culture that doesn't support me in any way, that actually leads to more burnout. That's why so many of us are burnt out. We're struggling. And because there's so much going on. So learning the art of slowing down and being present as often as you can will truly change your life and your world. And it'll feel probably weird at first. It could feel unsafe. It could feel very shaky, but it's so worth it. It's so rewarding. I still, with how much I've done and how much work I've done and learning to regulate my nervous system, doing somatic practices and somatic work, I did a lot of my stuff alone at home. I now am in a place of going into the community and finding like-minded people that are going through this experience of a spiritual awakening and ascension and just going down the entrepreneurial path, the just you're living a different way of life. It's not something that everyone can relate to, but everybody can benefit from learning to slow down a little bit. Because if you really sit down and think about it, where are you rushing? What are you rushing for? Where are you rushing to? You're going to get where you're meant to go. You're going to get where you need to go. But the biggest thing I've learned, and I learned really young because I just was always around a lot of older people. My mom was a bartender, so we used to go to work with her a lot, and I would just sit at the bar, play games, and talk to all the old people that would sit there. And not even just that, but just things I've watched. Everything I do, I take it in and process. And like, where's the lesson? That is just how my brain works. Or what's a different perspective? Or how could this be done differently or looked at differently? Or all those things. And so I've learned that a lot of the people that have regrets the most at the end of their life, a lot of people have said, I wish I just spent more time being present. I wish I did more of what I wanted, not what was expected of me or what I was told that I should do. And you can either be like, yeah, 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 or you can sit there and be like, there's some truth to that. How many of us feel like that? I know so many people that whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like you feel lost. You feel like, especially right now, as we're in a season of collectively more people awakening, more people are realizing this. They're starting to question, like, what is this reality that we're in that we've created as humans? Like, I don't know. Where are we rushing to? You're sitting there rushing, speed racing to work. Like, you can still get the things done that you need to get done without the internal panic. That I feel like is the biggest message I just want to get through to people. I want to help people understand and encourage that you can still be productive, you can still do all the things, but you can't give 100% to everything all at once. You just can't. Sometimes you have to put a couple things on the back burner, focus on whatever's most important right now that you need to put your energy and your effort, and then you can always circle back to those other things. You can routinely like check in little bits, you know? And to be more present, fo- put 100% of your energy or as much as you can on what you're doing right then and there. When I'm around people and I'm socializing or we're having a conversation, I've always been this way, to put my phone away. The worst thing for me is like when you're sitting there having a conversation with somebody and they're just like, yeah, mm-hmm. I don't, it's just like, I could have stayed home. Why are we doing that? But back on topic. Yeah, just taking a pause or slowing down, it doesn't mean you're stopping your life. Everything's not going to come to a halt. When you stop rushing your life, you actually start moving forward again because your decisions come from clarity instead of fear. Fear is very much a control tactic. Fear is what is used to keep us in line. Um, and learning to tackle my own fear and learning what fear feels like in my body and differentiating anxiety/fear with excitement has been monumental as well because they feel similar in your body. So, I would like to offer you guys some questions, some prompts you can do in your own time to maybe dig a little deeper and have some reflection. Where in my life do I feel unnecessary urgency? What am I afraid will happen if I slow down? Do I believe rest needs to be earned? And am I moving fast because it feels right? Or because I'm afraid to stop? I invite you to answer those yourself. You can share them in the comments if you'd like, or personally, just journal it and save it for yourself. I want to share that I was conditioned to believe that rest needed to be earned. As a projector, if you are a projector as well, rest is productive. I have to say that to myself over and over. I have to continuously remind myself of that. I've actually asked one of my sisters to, instead of asking me like what I've gotten done, have you rested or have you done anything fun? Because I need a reminder to schedule in fun as well into my life. I'm so serious and I'm so like I get so focused that I tend to not prioritize fun. And that is something for this year of 2026 that I want to prioritize and do more of. Things that I enjoy and rest, I enjoy now. I used to feel wrong. This is where meditation can be helpful for people because when I first started meditating, you know how hard it was for me to just sit there and listen to something? It was so difficult. There were some days I couldn't even sit for I couldn't even do it for 5 minutes, or I'd lay down and just listen, and I would be, like, checking it, and it was, like, 3 minutes. My nervous system was so on high alert that I just could not, like, slowing down felt so unsafe. So you start small, and you gradually build that momentum and expansion within yourself and your energy. Things shift, it takes time. You just have to know and remind yourself that I'm doing this for the better of me and the better of my life and the people in my life, and I deserve to be able to slow down. What I was afraid of would happen if I slowed down, like, this is gonna sound crazy, but I truly part of me believed that if I actually slowed down, something tragic would happen or I would no longer be here. My nervous system was on such high alert that it it was almost fully convinced that if I slowed down, if I moved more at my own natural pace, my own natural rhythm, that everything would collapse, including myself. I've shown myself that it won't, and everything is going to be okay. So I want to remind you that every little thing is going to be okay. Just keep going. You're not a failure. If you keep telling yourself that you're unable to slow down or you can't do that or it's not for you or you don't understand, you got to do some reflection because that just is resistance. And a big tip I will share with you, do what you will with it. But when I'm noticing I'm having an extreme like a resistant feeling to something I know is good for me, I know that that's a place that I need to explore, and that's something that I need to push a little bit on and focus my energy there for a little while, because why? Our ego and our spirit, those are 2 things I feel like I've deeply connected with. I used to live very much in the ego that kept me in survival, but what's interesting is I've always had the voice of, I didn't know what it was, but some voice that was telling me certain things that would keep me safe, and just little pockets and nuggets of wisdom that would just come through, and I'm grateful for that, and I've actually learned to listen to that side more. I'm gonna do another episode for plant medicine and how that's also helped me change my life and my outlook and work through so much trauma. It helped me regain safety within myself and my body and my nervous system. It helped remove blocks that I had that were like making it difficult to access certain things within myself and my memory. If you've been through traumatic and anything traumatic, you can probably understand that you may not remember certain things or parts of your life and stuff like that. So that's another reason why slowing down can feel unsafe to your nervous system. But just remind yourself that you're safe. I give myself little hugs and just tap. I'll just be like, I'm in my body. We're connected. It's going to be okay. And so before we get to our full close, I invite you to take a couple of deep breaths with me. There's a method that I learned. My brother-in-law sent me a video a few years ago. It's been monumental, and you can use it and do it anytime. But you breathe in, and then you take an extra breath in, you hold it, and then you let it go, but you make noise as you let go. As you exhale. Let's do 2 more together. It's gonna feel silly, or it can feel silly, but it's so, so helpful, and doing 3 of them can give your nervous system a quick little reset that you need in, like, the middle of the day, whether you're wrangling children, you're at work in a busy office meeting, or you're getting ready for the meeting and, yeah, you're frazzled, you can do this. So let's do the next one. It's okay, it can feel weird. We're gonna do one more, last one. It's a way to connect your mind and your body back together in a quick little reset. Already, I feel better. So I hope that helped you. Slowing down isn't about giving up on your life. It's about learning how to actually be inside it. And if this episode met you in a moment where you needed permission to breathe a little deeper or move a little gentler, I'm really glad you're here. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. You could be anywhere else, and I don't take it lightly that you chose to be here. We will see you for the next episode.